Hi, I'm Rolf Perez with Shooter's Paradise, bringing a second video to you about situational awareness, specifically what you need to be looking for. Because as we know, we can look right at something, and if we don't know the significance of it, we won't act on it, and it won't help us much to have seen it. So not only do we have to see things, we have to be aware enough to see what's happening, we also have to understand what it means. So we've put together a list of 10 items that we think people ought to be looking for as they're looking out for their own personal safety as they go about their business. We're going to be addressing item number 1 on our list in this video, which is a person out of place. So I pull into a convenience store and I see a guy leaning on the wall right beside the door. And it strikes me, he shouldn't be there. I have this little spider sense. By the way, always pay attention to the voice in your head. That little voice that tells you something's wrong here is always correct. So always pay attention to that. The problem we get into, of course, is that we don't listen to the voice. We justify it and say, oh no, it can't be a problem. It can't be that. It'll all be okay if I just continue doing what I normally do. That's where we run into problems. The key thing is to understand on a conscious level that this thing is actually a problem. It actually indicates that there's a problem, and then to take action. That's our struggle, really. So the person out of place is a person who's leaning right beside the door on the wall at the convenience store, or he's kind of in the pocket between the ice machine and the Coke machine, and he's leaning back in the wall there, and it's like wildly inappropriate for him to be there, right? That's a person out of place. So as we look at this and as we see this, we scan the parking lot. When I pull in to pump gas, the first thing I do is scan the whole gas station parking lot, the front of the building, where I can see the sides of the building, and make sure that there aren't people hanging out there who shouldn't be there. That's the first thing I'm looking for. I'm looking for a person out of place. So there's some important things to realize here. I need to ask myself, would I do that? Would I sit on the curb blocking people's way in and out of the store? Would I lean against the wall right on the side of the door? Would I lean on the wall between the Coke machine and the ice machine where I'm kind of hidden? Would I do that? And if the answer is no, then that's a behavior that's abnormal. I need to be very, all my senses need to be heightened. I need to be looking for an additional issue. If there's an additional issue, I need to get the heck out of there. I always like to see 3 items before I run. And then literally, I might mean run. So I'm looking for 3 warning signs. Of the 10 items I'm looking for, if I pick up on 3, I'm out of there. That's my personal rule. I leave right then and there when I hit number 3. So the person out of place, would I do that? Would I lean against the wall beside the door? There's an important element here that you need to take into consideration. When you see the character who's a person out of place, and you look at them and think, oh, this is a problem. The first question should be, would I do that? The second question should be, is that a person from my group? And what do we mean by that? We all have cultural groups that we grew up in, that we live in, that we exist in. Someone in my own group is going to do the kind of things I'm going to do, and our social norms and rules that how we live our lives, they're going to follow those. If they're not following those, that's dangerous behavior. So there's 3 things we need to be aware of. There's normal behavior in a situation, there's abnormal behavior, and then there's plain dangerous behavior. So I need to be able to identify, is this individual's behavior normal? Would I do that? If I would do that, then it's normal behavior. If I wouldn't do that, now we're looking at abnormal behavior, right? And so then abnormal behavior, just because it's abnormal, doesn't make it dangerous. I need to be able to identify the dangerous behavior. That's why I want to see 3 things on the list of 10 before I take action, because now if I can identify 3, I can absolutely say this is dangerous behavior. So if that person who I've identified as a person out of place is not from my cultural group, Obviously, I'm Caucasian. If this person is a Latin American or perhaps a African American, and this is just facts of the matter are, different cultural groups have different norms. Uh, I'm aware that a group of men, black men, say 6 black men standing in a circle outside of a convenience store, all drinking a beer, dressed similarly, age bracket 30 years old or so, at say 5:30 p.m. That would be abnormal behavior in my group, but that is perfectly normal behavior in their group, because that's simply a group of guys who have stopped on their way home from the plant and they're having a beer. That's perfectly normal. Nothing dangerous about it whatsoever. So I need to be able to understand how the Latins in my community function. I need to understand how they interact with one another. It's an important part of this to understand the person out of place, because what I might not do, another cultural group would do. And so it's important to be able to answer that question. So in identifying the person out of place, the first thing is, would I do that? No, I wouldn't do that. Okay, are they from my cultural group? Yes, they are. We have a problem. No, they're not from my cultural group. Would I do that? No, I wouldn't. Are they from my cultural group? No, they're not. So now I have to identify, do I know what the norms for this group are in this area? That's a very important thing. If I can identify that, I have a really solid identifier for whether or not this person represents a danger or not. I would always err on the side of safety. If I don't have that information about this cultural group, that I've never interacted with this cultural group before, they're obviously a different cultural group than me, I would err on the side of safety. Whatever that would mean, that's the precaution I would take. But I would strongly recommend that you add into your daily situational awareness looking for the person out of place, the person who shouldn't be there. And if they're part of your culture group, you're going to know instantly what normal behavior is, what abnormal behavior is, and then what dangerous behavior is. So, we'll do several more videos, of course, but this is number 1 on our list, identifying the person out of place. I hope this has been helpful. Feel free to leave comments, contact us, watch some more videos. We'll have some more up here. Thank you very much.